What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. Today I want to talk about the top 3 reasons why you should get a roommate if you can't afford to buy a house. That's right. Get a roommate if you can't afford to buy a house. These are top 3 reasons why. The number 1 reason is if you're a single person and you're out here working, why would you want to pay for a whole house? If your excuse is you just want privacy, you're not mature enough. You're not mature enough. That is not a good enough excuse to throw away money. The bottom line is, if you get a roommate, you can get a nicer place in a nicer area for less money. Think about that. Instead of paying $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 for a 1-bedroom apartment, you could get a 2-bedroom, 2-bath place in a high-end place for maybe $1,700 or maybe $1,500 and split that with one person. And you're not only splitting the rent, you're splitting the light bill and you're splitting the water if that's what you pay in an apartment. Split your bills. Quit thinking about privacy. Privacy, when you're in your 20s or even your 30s, man, privacy ain't a thing, man. Grow up, get out of that mindset and do something different. The number 2 reason is you're buying yourself time so you can actually invest in a property that's going to be for you, right? So basically, if you just go out and rent something for $1,200, $1,300 a month, you're not going to be in a situation where you're going to be able to save any money. How are you going to save money? You're not going to save money. You're going to end up having to go in debt or put yourself in a bad situation to purchase a house. If you go ahead and roommate with somebody for a year or 2, you could put yourself in a situation where you could pay enough of a down payment that you may not have mortgage insurance. You could pay enough of a down payment where you may not have a high interest rate. You can have a lower interest rate. You could put yourself in a better situation. We have to get out of the mindset of thinking about what you're losing when you do something. Think about what you're gaining because you're doing it, right? That's the thing you really need to focus on is, what am I gaining because I am having a roommate? Not think about silly things about privacy and things like that. The third thing is live cheap, think big. And this is one of the biggest things folks should think about, especially young folks. If young folks could get in the habit of thinking about their future earlier on, they will be willing to do things like this, right? But instead, young folks want to think of things like privacy, and image and all of those things like that ultimately won't mean anything. I had this conversation with my daughter and she wholeheartedly agrees with it. And I said, man, popularity doesn't mean anything once you get out of school. It's such a true statement. Like who cares who's popular after school is over with? I was pretty popular in school, very popular, but none of that popularity has helped me in life. It just hasn't. I pretty much had to go through the same things that the unpopular people had to go through. I didn't get any type of advantage from being popular, right? So quit thinking about what other people think about you. That is a high school mindset. If you want to think like that in high school, that is fine. You're a child, you're a kid, you're in school, that is fine. But once you graduate high school, that mindset has to go away. When kids go to college, guess what they're doing? Most of them, they're in dorms. And what are dorms? It's shared co-living, right? And the reason why they're in the co-living situation is because it's a lot cheaper than getting their own place. The majority of kids in college, they're in co-living situation. If you want to be that kid that's in your own that's in your own apartment, whatever. My daughter did that for her senior year, but her first, I guess her senior year and her 5th year, but basically her first 3 years, she did co-living, and that saved her a ton of money. right? And so what's wrong with transferring that mindset to when you become an adult and you're paying your own bills? So those are my top 3 reasons. Drop in the comments what you guys think about that. We have too much folks out here that are worried about, image and what society says that we should be doing. We got to rewrite the script, man. Rewrite the playbook on your life. Like, get out of the mindset that you have to do things a certain way. Do whatever it takes. Like me, I live in a duplex. I moved out of my dream house, right? My wife's dream house, to live for free, right? Conventional wisdom would be like, why would you do that? You work so hard to get that 5-bedroom, 4.5-bath house. Why would you move out of that house to move in a duplex? Because I want to live for free. I want to live for free. I want somebody else to pay my bills so I can stack more money and do more what I want to do. I don't care about image. I don't care if people come to my house and say, Chris lives in a duplex and stuff. I don't care, because guess what? You're paying your mortgage or your rent and I'm living for free. That's the difference. We have to change our mindset about the way we think about things. So again, those are the top 3 reasons why I say that folks should not be in a situation. If you can't buy a house, do not be living by yourself. Get you a roommate, start running the place, and get yourself to financial freedom. Peace.